Is your state a Second Amendment sanctuary state? Now, this is something I've heard little snippets of just scuttlebutt, whatever. But interesting enough, there is a grading system for Second Amendment sanctuary states. This is from gunowners.org is where I got this, if you want to put up that map. So this is a map, if you can read it. The yellow states, Missouri and Idaho, are states meeting the gold standard. I'm going to explain what the different standards mean. The gray states meet a silver standard for Second Amendment sanctuary states. The green states have codified laws that provide very limited protection, so we can almost call that a bronze status. And then red states have a governor's proclamation, which basically carries no weight at all. But there's at least they have a governor that's trying. It may mean that they're on their way to get to the gold standard or silver standard. So if you minimize that, I'll give you an explanation of what gold standard means. The gold standard of the Second Amendment Preservation Act offers essential protection for gun owners against gun control that is contrary to the U.S. Constitution. So this goes back to the federalism. States are doing it themselves where they can't count on the federal government to do things per the Constitution. Gold standard SAPAs must include protections like the prohibition of funding for gun control and or criminal or civil penalties for government agents and or agencies that enforce unconstitutional gun control. States that have passed these, I mentioned before, are Idaho and Missouri. So that's your gold standard. Silver is a positive starting point for Second Amendment Preservation Act. While such an act demonstrates an on-the-record commitment to the right to keep and bear arms, these acts lacked essential protections necessary to stop gun control, such as funding, prohibitions, and or criminal or civil penalties, meaning lawsuits and stuff like that for defending yourself against attack or something like that. So these silvers are on the way, but they haven't met that perfect protection for the citizens to defend themselves as the Second Amendment was intended.
Okay.
States that have passed the silver standard are Arizona, Arkansas, Montana, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Texas and West Virginia. Some of the usual suspects for a good 2A state.
Okay, very good.
The Gun Owners Association applauds these states and urges them to go to the next step to get that gold standard. The green SAPAs must protect more than manufacturing and weapons manufactured in-state and in-state components. Alaska, Kansas, Utah, and Wyoming have these limited laws, but they do not qualify as sanctuary states. All firearms must be protected. Agreed.
Agreed.
North Dakota and Tennessee have laws that are so weak that they provide no real protection for Second Amendment rights. As I mentioned before, Nebraska has a Governor Pete Ricketts that proclaimed himself as a Second Amendment sanctuary state, but there's no laws or amendments to their own state constitution.
No actual protections there. Okay.
Yes, he may have been bloviating and trying to get support for. So Nebraska, take it to the next step. If you're out there in Nebraska, start pushing. You're on the way. I mean, it's better than Ohio. I mean,
Ohio's solidly nowhere.
Yep. All the rest, what is that? About 35 states that really have done nothing to protect the rights of their citizens. So, real quick, the basic components. The state should prohibit earmarking taxpayer funds for gun control. The state should create protections against federal restrictions, registration, regulation, bans, and seizure of firearms, accessories, and ammunition, i.e. pistol braces would be a good example there. States should include language to protect citizens from red flag laws, bazunga. States should prohibit override by any declared emergency on a federal level. So state law first overrides any type of federal law. States should include shall rather than may language. That's an important one because a good lawyer will just tear that apart.
Yep.
State should provide immunity to law enforcement officers who refuse to execute violations of individual constitutional rights. I love that one.
That's a good one, yep.
States should establish the process for application of the law. For example, who determines the laws are unconstitutional or violate state laws? Some states have appointed AGs, like Tennessee, while others are elected. For states with elected AG, it seems the obvious channel of issuing an opinion. I'm not sure how to unpack that, but maybe you smart people would be better at that. States should also allow citizens a civil path forward to seek a remedy if constitutional rights are violated, i.e., if your firearms are seized or you're arrested for and charged for defending yourself. There should be a path to appeal that and retain your firearms and retain your citizenship as a...
And retain your finances that you had to outlay to get those things back.
There you go, civil. That would be the civil path.
Yep.
This path should not be dependent on a court or an attorney general. So that's quickly that section.
I hope you've enjoyed this clip from the Craig's Gun Channel Random Shots program. The program airs Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Random Shots, we discuss content ranging anything from preparedness, survival, politics, firearms, basically anything that's 2A related, with sometimes some rabbit trails on things that aren't related at all. If you enjoy this type of programming, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified when we release new content. And if you like it, hit the like button and share us if you would as well. It helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow and helps get our message out. So I guess until next time, stay safe.